So today we're covering chapter 2. We'll just spend 2 classes on chapter 2 because it has 72 texts. So we'll just take 2 classes. So today and the next class. So we covered chapter 1 and then we covered chapter 2 up until verses 1 to 10, where we talked about the importance of finding a right friend and a right teacher to inquire about the values of life. And we shared that Krishna didn't open his mouth because Arjuna was presenting all his arguments and he was just listening. And finally, when Arjuna said, "Okay, I'm a little lost. Can you please help me? And I am a soul surrendered unto you." And then only his friend, Krishna, started to speak the Gita. So in this text, we're going to be reading from text 11 to 30. So in this portion, the first thing that a dear friend teaches his friend Arjuna about the fundamental knowledge of the I. So this moi is called Atma Tattva in Sanskrit. It means the knowledge of the self. It's extremely important. If we want to live life, we need to know the self. Say, for example, Olivia is driving a car. And if she doesn't know what kind of fuel that her car takes, so her car takes petrol, and she puts diesel in the car, what will happen to the car? The car will not function. So she has to know what fuel the car needs in order for the car to move. And that's why you will see every time you buy anything in the world, it comes with a manual. And so Krishna is teaching his friend, he's sharing his knowledge about the vehicle, about the car that he is driving inside of. So what does that mean? So our human body has 3 dimensions of existence. We have the hardware, and then you have the software that runs the machine, and then we have the person that is using the machine. So Krishna explains to his friend, he said, "My dear Arjuna, you have given such incredible arguments about this big, powerful principle of, of dharma, on why you don't want to kill anybody, and you give all these beautiful 4 arguments. But after your arguments, I've come to realize that you're only talking about the machine. This machine has no value if it does not have a user. Olivia's car can sit in her garage, but unless Olivia drives the car is just, it has no value." So Krishna explains to his friend that there is 2 important duties in the world. One is called the swadharma, the duty of the machine, and then there is the duty of the user of the machine, and that's called sanatana dharma. That means the eternal nature of the user. So the body and the mind has its own duties, and then the soul that resides and operates this body has separate set of duties. And so far all your arguments have been about the duty of the body and the mind, but it has nothing to do with the swadharma, the sanatan dharma, the eternal nature of the soul. So it is extremely critical, if we want to live in this world, to understand what is the machine, who's using the machine, and how to use this machine. And all of this is what we called the material drama. This drama happens in the body, mind, and the intellect. And in the spiritual nature of the Sanatan Dharma, there is no drama. There is just nothing but pure joy. Krishna is explaining Atma Tattva, the knowledge of the I, because that is the real essence of life. If you understand who you are, then all your problems in this world automatically starts to peel off of you. Because everything else in this world, other than the true knowledge of the I, is a quagmire of drama in this world. So Krishna explains to his friend, he says, my dear Arjuna, did you know that you are not this body, you are not this mind, and that which pervades this body is indestructible? So if we look at our lives, you will notice that we live in the world of drama because we do not live our lives. We live the lives of drama that is surrounding the very nature of the very essence of who we are. And it's okay to have drama in your life, but we have to at least understand that all of these roles that we play, husband, wife, boyfriend, girlfriend, all these relationships that is based on matter and all these expectations and all these educations and wealth, all of this is part of the material drama. It's drama because we are wearing a costume. Olivia is not what you see Olivia is with your eyes. It is a costume that she came into this world with. And sometimes when we don't like our costume, then we do extensive makeovers. We will do facelift, tummy tuck, these buttocks, this, that, so many things we will do to make our costume look more nice and more beautiful. And then we will also keep that costume and widen the influence of that costume by identifying with the car we drive, the home that we live in, the country that we live in. And we continues to put more and more layers of identities, which is material costumes around us. Because they don't have Atma Tattva, they don't have knowledge of the I. You can see in America, it's so rampant, this identity crisis. You're recognized by the car you drive. People ask you, so what are you driving? Where do you eat? Where do you live? If you tell me your zip code, I will exactly know what is your status in society. So it's very much designed to cover up the knowledge of the I and put more and more layers of costume around you. It's a big problem in the world because there is no knowledge of the I. Then we just keep running around trying to figure out everything else to cover that I, the lack of knowledge of the I, by creating more layers. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is a great saint who appeared on this planet 538 years ago, he had a great disciple by the name of Sanatan Goswami. And the first question that Sanatan Goswami asks his guru, he said, who am I and why am I suffering? Now we have to keep in mind his disciple Sanatan Goswami was considered to be a multi-billionaire of his times. He had so much material wealth and so much knowledge. He was the minister of the biggest emperor of India at that time. And his first question when he meets this saint is, who am I? Why am I suffering? And his whole life starts with these two questions. Who am I? Such an important question. And that question leads him to understand who the real I was. And the conclusion of his life is that Tyaktva Turna Mashesha Mandalapati, that after he realizes the I, he gives up everything in his life and he operates from that space of I. And it's so beautiful because his guru, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he answers this question by sharing with the whole world what he is not. He says, Naham Vipro Nachan Narapatir Napi. Beautiful Sanskrit verse. Can I recite it for you? So it sounds like this. Naham Vipro Nachan Narapatir Napi Vaishyana Shudro. Naham Varni Nacha Grihapatirno Vanasthoyatirva. Kintu Prodyannikhila Paramananda Purnamritabdher. Gopi Bhartu Pada Kamalayor Dasa Dasa Anudasa. This is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu explaining to his disciple, what is that I?
Ce qu'il est.
He said, I'm not a married man. I'm not a husband. I am not a businessman. I am not a scholar. And he starts to dissect everything that he is not. One by one by one by one. He just keeps, deducting all the false identities that people place on ourselves. And what does he say? The conclusion is, Gopi bhartu pada kamalayor dasa dasa anudasa, which means that my true nature is to be an eternal servant of the divine. Imagine that consciousness. This whole identity, material identity, is completely dissolved. Unless we dissolve our material identities, there is no deep knowledge of the I. So it's such an important lesson that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is teaching his student. He said, forget all the things that you are, that you think you are, that you have been given, all the designations. You have to shed all of that from you, and then you'll be able to find yourself. Because there's too many layers of costumes. So the two dharma, the swadharma of the body and the mind,
Sorry.
the real duty of the soul is called Sanatan Dharma, eternal nature of who we are.
Yeah, sorry.
And that means that we have to acknowledge that our true eternal spiritual identity is that we are servant. It's very hard for Americans and the French people to think that we are servant of anybody. We are the masters, of the world. And this is where the drama starts, with the identity of the body and the mind. And then the drama completely stops when we really realize the identity of who we truly are. It's so important to understand why this drama is taking place. The drama only takes place because we're bound by the laws of karma, which are only applicable when we are stuck in the framework of the body and the mind and the intelligence. Karma is only effective in this realm. Karma is not effective on the I, true knowledge of the I. Karma is not activated. And that is just the body, the mind, and the intellect. And as soon as we operate from our true spiritual identity, there is no karma. There's no reactions. There's no drama. It's just pure spiritual fun. So that's why Krishna is telling his friend Arjuna, he says, Arjuna, get out of this drama. What you're doing, your tantrum, is your argument. This is all just drama. So rise above it and have proper Atma Tattva, knowledge of the I, and operate from that platform. And then, voila, everything is great. Raise your hand and tell me if you don't have drama in your life. Raise your hand. Who has drama in their life? Yeah. we're all just being silly and acting goofy and thinking that, this is who we are. And unfortunately, this drama has to come to an end, and we don't want this drama to end. And that's why this practice that Krishna is going to explain in the Bhagavad Gita, it's so beautiful. I mean, the incredible part of this dialogue between two friends is how heartfelt and how genuine and authentic and direct Krishna is towards his friend. There's no sugarcoating. Tattva is the broad category of knowing the self and experiencing the self. Because many times we may have a theoretical knowledge of the self. Like, I know that I'm not this body, theoretically. And as soon as someone comes and slaps me in my face, all of a sudden I am this body. Before that, I was sure that I was not this body. So the mature world brings us to reality check that we may know the theory, but we may not have realized it. When Jesus is being crucified on the cross, he knows that he is not the body, and he realizes. So he's happily and joyfully accepting the consequences. So one is to have theoretical knowledge, and one is to have the realization of that. So this is why Atma Tattva, knowledge of the I. And I will tell you a secret that I haven't shared with you before, maybe. I was just talking to one of my students yesterday here in the ashram who live with me, and he was just having some uh, little mental struggle. And I have always emphasized to him that you keep in mind, I have given you a very, very, very simple meditative practice to change anything and achieve anything in this world. It's a secret. He said, you just have to sit or you walk. You just do your japa meditation. Whatever it is that you are thinking of during that time of japa meditation, that you will achieve without a doubt. One of the boys had asked me, I want to become a good singer. Can this meditation work for me? And I said, please just spend an hour or two. You just do this japa meditation. And in your mind, if you're thinking of being a star, just keep thinking that you're a singing superstar. And he did his japa and he kept thinking that he was a superstar. So that knowledge, that amplification that the sound gave him, he is actually very, very well-known superstar in the world today. Very, very simple. I even was talking with Durga Devi, and I always tell her one thing. Let all the storms come. Hurricanes and tornadoes flew right over her. I just say, just hold on to your meditation. Nothing else. Don't worry about anything else in the world. Just hold on to your meditation and watch the miracles that'll happen in your life. Everything that she feared, there was nothing to fear. Everything turned out so nice. She's like calling me with such happiness and joy because everything worked out. It works for jobs, economic prosperity, mental happiness, relationships, deep introspections, manifesting, you know, big futures in one's life. You don't even have to try. It is effortless. Whenever you're doing your japa, just keep in mind, whatever you're thinking, you're going to get it. So just be careful of what you're thinking. If you're thinking, I'm going to be miserable, you may also get that. It contains the universal cosmic force, holistic force in this mantra that infuses your very existence. Whatever is on your mind, whatever is on your heart, it just fully amplifies it. Because the definition is namnamakari, Bahuda Nija Sarva Shakti in Sanskrit. What it means is that the cosmic energy, the all of cosmic energy is infused when you do this such a simple meditation. It's so simple. You can do it sitting down on a chair, on a sofa, laying in bed. You can do it while walking. But that meditation has to happen every day. Someone said, Veda, I cannot sleep at night. I have insomnia. I said, fantastic. I said, lay down in bed, put the start doing japa. And he doesn't know what happened, but he is no longer taking, sleep medication. So it works. This is the power of the universal cosmic sound vibration. Because this sound vibration, it drowns up all the other sound vibrations in the body and amplifies your desired objectives in the world. So this is my request to all of you. Please try. I have been requesting, I've been recommending that there's no rules. There's no rules. It's an absolute expression of the transcendental divine emotions of the heart. And that emotion is the highest spiritual frequency ever. This is my request to all of you. Experiment. Become become the an experimental yogi to see what happens in your life, in your mind, in your consciousness, and your whole environment. I give you one last story and then I'll end. When I go to India every year, I stay a little longer. I travel around India trying to meet with sages. So I went and I met this sage in a place called Varshana. And this sage sleeps 1 hour out of 24 hours. And he is in a state of japa meditation approximately 16 hours a day. And he was just giving darshan, he was giving an audience. So I sat in front of him and I asked this question. I asked a silly question. I said, I like to sleep a lot. I love sleep. I don't understand how you can do 1 hour of sleep and I need minimum 7 hours of sleep. How can I sleep less so I can have more time for meditation and spiritual life? And all the other students started to laugh at me. They thought this was a silly question to ask. And you want to know his answer? He said that when I'm sitting down and I'm doing my japa meditation, this mantra meditation puts me in a state of absolute trance. And in that space of trance, the body does not need any rest because the body is resting. It's already in a space, in a state of rest. He said, your body, because you are mentally overworking yourself, so your body needs 7 hours of sleep. You don't know how to shut off your mind. He says, my mind is shut off all the time. And I am just continuously living in the state of meditation. I'm doing my japa meditation and I feel so well rested. I have so much energy. So the secret, he said, is that you must sit or lay down. You just continuously chant japa and it'll shut off your mind and you'll have so much energy, your body will not need any sleep. Maximum you'll need is 1 hour of sleep. I was thinking, oh my God, I didn't even realize our mind are so active. And sometimes it's so active, we want to sleep, but we cannot sleep, so we need to take drugs to knock ourselves out, to shut off the mind so we can go to sleep. And this guy, he can just be in meditation and his body does not need any activity to rest. So the secret is japa meditation. Don't think of God, don't think of anything, just be present. Vibration vibrate throughout your whole existence and let it do its own miracles. If you want to have, if you start thinking, oh, I will do this so I can experience miracles, nah, don't worry about that. Miracles will happen to you regardless. So, this is my secret. I'm telling all of you that, you know, whatever it is you're doing, don't stop. Don't stop your life. Don't stop your job. Don't stop anything that you're doing. It just simply add consistent, consistent daily minimum 1 hour of japa meditation. Do it sitting, laying down, walking. Just do it. And you watch the transformation you experience. I'm sharing you the secret that I have seen work with hundreds of my students, and it works on me. And, I'm not a very religious person. I'm not I also am a little bit of a rebel. I don't like to follow all these rules and regulations. I just go with the flow of my heart. And this is the real flow
Hmm.
that I found. To recognize such person is through the radiance of their humility. You will be surprised to know the most effulgent light that exists in the world is the light of humility. There is no light brighter than the light of humility. You can also check yourself when you go and you see a homeless person, a person who is struggling. What do you see? What do you feel? Are you able to see with the lens of your heart? I deal with unhoused people every single day in Atlanta. My heart is filled with joy. You know why? Because I'm looking at this suffering, this material suffering of all these people, and I'm just thinking, what an incredible life that they have. They are burning off all of their karma in this life, and after this, they're joining eternal life.
Et je les
People
regarde.
like me and people like others who are living in such luxury are completely engrossed in material life, and they're incurring more karma to
Hmm.
suffer.
Hmm.
If you look at, I saw today's Instagram reel that Nitai, Nitai does my Instagram and social media. Has anyone seen it? You saw today's Instagram feed? Smiling faces of the widows who do not have anything in their life. You have to see it because you see these people, they have nothing. No husbands, no wife, no children. Nobody cares for them. And they have nothing in the material world and they just live and beg from the streets. And you look at their smiles, and our people are crying because they're like, I cannot believe the society has neglected them. And these people are so happy. And in my heart, I'm just thinking, these are the most luckiest people on the planet. They're just burning off their karma and they're gone.
Hmm. Hmm.
Here we are, from first world, all this, luxurious life that we live, and we're stuck. Real drama. And that's the beauty, Olivia, this, uh, the world has so much beauty. And the more we have this cultivation of the spiritual awareness in our heart through our japa, then our lens becomes more and more clear, and we start to become more and more humble because you start to see the greatness of this universe and everything starts to make so much sense. And you realize your position in this world, and it's so beautiful.
Et
And
c'est ça.
that is what humility gives you. The effect of sound vibration is universal. If you change your vibration, the universal vibration will change. The Bhagavad Gita, when we come to chapter 15, no, actually it's chapter 17, it'll tell us that when we see the suffering of others, your heart will naturally melt. and we must do something, and we must do something that is in the mode of goodness. We
Dans
don't give them money so they can get more drunk. We don't give them, things that will further entrap them into this material circle of life, but we give them charity in the mode of goodness, such as prasadam,
mm.
such as doing meditation with them, such as giving them. But that question will be very nicely answered by Krishna.